Welcome to another edition of the Noles Podcast. I am your host, Gregory McCoy. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me, in my opinion. Other information comes from the internet. No segments for this episode, just more Florida State football stuff. Was one guy going to come in and just vault us to the college football playoff? No. Okay, it's a tremendous loss, but it's not the end of the world. We got two very good DBs in McCall and Thomas. So in my eyes, the sky's not falling, man. To me, the more pressing issue is finding a replacement for Jermaine Johnson and having good to great offensive and defensive lines. I promise you, if we improve on the offensive line and the defensive line, this will be a better football team. Okay? Large part in what Travis Hunter could have been to this team was dependent upon the offensive and defensive lines. I'm not minimizing him as a player. I'm not minimizing his talent. I'm not minimizing the impact he could have had on Florida State. But you have to put things in perspective. It's easier to find good DBs than it is to find great offensive linemen in college. Because with great pass rush come good DBs, great DBs. DBs develop when they don't have to cover for a long period of time. And you can have 4 Deions back there. If your defensive line is not getting pressure, it won't matter. Okay? No DB can cover forever. So, if he got paid to go to Jackson State, more power to him. I'm always going to pull for the player, man. Okay? He went to a historically black college. That's another win. This should be celebrated. And just some of the things you read on the internet about these just crazy over-the-top fans, man. Y'all are just over the top. This kid is 18 years old. He can go wherever he wants to go. He can be committed one day and go somewhere else the next second. And that's why I don't put all my eggs in. To me, getting Julian Armella was more important. To me, losing Marvin Jones, edge rusher that could have potentially, lessened the effect of Jermaine Johnson leaving was more impactful. Right? Because we got pretty good DBs. And you add 2 guys that's over 6 feet with long arms and McCall and Thomas. I'm not worried about DB, man. I'm worried about offensive line, defensive line. I'm not even worried about receiver, because if a quarterback has time to throw, the receivers will get open. Jordan Travis didn't have time to throw, so we don't know how good these receivers are. So you have to approach your team and your season with a degree of realism. You got better on the offensive line, which should have been your number one goal coming into this early signing period. We're pretty much stacked at defensive back. They're not great DBs, but like I said earlier in this show, McCall and Thomas ain't nothing to sneeze at. So, along with what we got, if we can get the kid from Albany, the defensive end, I really feel good about the defense next year. We added the interior lineman from Wisconsin. He can play anywhere on the interior. I think we need him most at center. I wouldn't mind seeing Julian Armella take Love Taylor's spot at guard. And then just some of the coaching changes. Alex Atkins is new offensive coordinator. Dillingham goes to Oregon. Your boy, I forget his name. Former head coach at Miami. He's the new co-defensive coordinator, Randy Shannon. I really don't like his defensive philosophy, but it is what it is. We got a long way to go. But, I feel like, everybody wanted to act like it was Armageddon, the end of days, just, it was over. Like, Florida State just going to stop playing football because we didn't get one guy. Okay? So, as far as Deion goes, I started watching Florida State because of Deion way back in the day. I don't begrudge Deion nothing, man. He did what he was supposed to do. He saw a recruit that he wanted, and he went out and got him. It just so happens he slighted, out-recruit. I ain't going to say slighted. Okay, I take that back. He out-recruited his alma mater. That's all it was. Nothing to be bitter about. This stuff happens. I don't care if the kid got paid or not. Okay? The more money you can get for your talents, good for you. More power to you. If somebody gonna pay me, whatever amount more money than I'm making on my current job, I'm probably gonna take it. So he, we don't know if he got money or not. That's what everybody's saying, but if he did or if he didn't, whatever. He's maybe he can blaze a trail for black athletes to go make the HBCUs rich. Because back in the day, that's what they used to do. I mean, some of the greatest players ever came from HBCUs. So, like I said, we got a long way to go, though. Hopefully this team can get better at the lines of scrimmage. Hopefully we can get some more recruits in here, and we'll see what happens. You still got to find some defensive ends. I don't think you can go in the season with Fuller and McClendon as your starters. You really got to find some guys. I just felt like losing Marvin Jones Jr. was worse than losing Travis Hunter in my eyes. Because I really feel like he could have came in and been that guy, almost day one. And really something else that we need to focus on as a fan base is this guy, A.J. Duffy. I mean, he's got to be a home run out the park. With the transfer of Purdy and just not recruiting Jeff Sims and Rodemaker, not being anything special, A.J. Duffy's pretty much got to be a hit. So, we got a long way to go, man. What is this team going to look like next year? Hopefully this kid, Omar Graham, can come in and contribute early. Because our linebackers can't cover for nothing. Okay, pretty good against the run, not really good in coverage. I mean, hopefully Randy Shannon can improve that group, but now you're hearing that, the state of Florida is going to change the NIL laws. I mean, whatever, man. This is college football now. Outbidding each other for players, but this stuff has been going on. Like your boy Jimbo Fisher said, NIL has been going on forever. It's just legal now. So, and it's just surprising to hear a Power 5 SEC coach say that. That's just, I never thought I would hear an SEC coach say that. So, it's, the last time I checked, it's like 3,000 players in the portal, man. So, Florida State just got to go do their due diligence and just find the best players that fit this program. We're not that far off. Julian Armella has to be a starter, though. I think he has the body to be a starter. I think he's strong enough to be a starter right now. The man has transformed his body into a college Power 5 lineman type body. he can come in and play immediately. And then you got to figure out something with Lloyd Willis and Rod Orr. And you got this kid, Lyles from Wisconsin. He's going to play center. There's no way you can put Maurice Smith back out there after this past season's performance. I would like to see Darius Washington move inside. So, you got some options now. Hopefully one of these kids from that signed Wednesday can come in and contribute early. So, I'm choosing to look at the glass half full instead of half empty. And, I just wish some of these so-called Florida State football fans would make up their mind, man. I thought it sucked that we didn't get a wide receiver recruit. Not one wide receiver recruit. Ron Dugans, former Florida State wide receiver, I love you, man, but you got to go. There's just no excuse. There's no excuse for that. So, we got to make some changes because some of these guys just can't recruit. And, Jimbo Fisher was right. Florida State is pretty much cheap. We were surpassed when we won the national championship. All these SEC programs were just building, and they surpassed us. So it's no longer you just get guys off of name recognition. It's what kind of money you bring into the table, along with all the other traditional stuff. So hopefully Florida State can get their act together. I saw somewhere where somebody said that Deion was the enemy. And I laugh at that. I think it's a whole generation of people like me that started watching Florida State because of Deion. Certainly there were other Florida State greats before Deion. Ron Sellers, Fred Biletnikoff, Ron Simmons, but I think Deion kind of put Florida State on the map. And I think he kind of inspired a whole generation of recruits and athletes to come to Florida State just to be different, just to do something different. And, especially in the state of Florida, everybody was going to Miami. And, just to hear people talk crazy like that over one guy, one recruit, one person, it's crazy. It's not that serious. Like I said, one guy was not going to come in here and turn the program around. Okay, could he have had a tremendous impact? Yes. Could he have been the face of the program? Yes. Was he going to take us to 12-0 ACC championship playoff? No. I can stand here and say that with 100% confidence. That just wasn't going to happen. Football is a game that is won in the trenches. And you need good to great offensive linemen, good to great defensive linemen. Run the ball, stop the run, rush the passer. That's what football is. Okay, the more time you give the quarterback to throw, the easier it is for wide receivers to get open. Football is not a complicated game. Like a famous man once said, you can have all the frisbee catching dogs you want. If you can't block and you can't rush the quarterback and stop the run, it's a moot point. But nevertheless, I wish Travis Hunter the best in his career and future endeavors. I hope he's a future number 1 pick in the NFL draft. I hope Deion Sanders put Jackson State on the map. I hope they make the FCS playoffs. I hope they win championships. I wish him nothing but success, man. And that's what the fan base should be doing all together. I mean, just to make this a Deion versus Norvell type thing, or Deion versus Florida State because he didn't get the job and Norvell did. I mean, it may be some truth to that, but who cares? I don't. Norvell is a coach. I'm going to support Norvell because I'm a Florida State fan. I'm going to support Deion because I started watching Florida State because of Deion. And, just after this whole recruiting, quote unquote, fiasco, I think that stuff happens in recruiting every year. It's just a big deal because Jackson State is a historically black college, which I find, somewhat offensive that you're saying that this kid can't go to a historically black college. He can go anywhere he wants. And, kudos to him for being brave enough to do that. And, hey, man, some of these adults out here that watch college football, y'all got to grow up, man. Get a life. Like, seriously, if the kid got paid, he got paid. So what? If somebody offered you a few $1 million to go work at McDonald's, you wouldn't go? I'll be right there flipping burgers for a couple million. So I don't begrudge the kid nothing, man. He did what was best for him and his family. Hey, and if he can instantly change his family's financial situation just by going to a HBCU, why wouldn't he do it? But with all that being said, Florida State still has the number 12 class in the country, and we sucked for the last 4 years, 2017 to present. So that's 4 years. So, and Florida State is cheap. We all know that. They're not going to play big boy football when it comes to spending money. So we're going to get a 5-star here and there. We're not going to get 25 stars like Texas A&M and Alabama and, 5 or 6 5-stars like Georgia. We're going to be like, 9 4-stars, 9 3-stars. We're going to be mediocre until the boosters and the administration decide, hey, we want to play big boy football. And that means spending money and quit being cheap. And that's really it. I just wanted to take my time with this podcast just because I didn't want to rush to say something stupid like I hear some of these other people saying, like, it was a bad day and it was chaos and it was whatever, man. Grow up. Let this kid do what he wants, man. And, like I said, as great and as talented as he is, and that's just from watching YouTube, he wasn't going to single-handedly turn this whole program around and get us into the playoff and competing for championships. It takes a team effort. And that's it. So, thank you for listening. This podcast is available on YouTube and on all podcast platforms. Thank you for listening. Go Noles.